"Do you even know who I am?" Isabella snapped, her voice slicing through the humid air as Officer Ruiz snapped handcuffs around her wrists. Dressed in a tight sapphire blue dress, wobbling slightly in her designer heels, Isabella looked more like someone heading to a gala than into the back seat of a police car. Her hair was flawless, her makeup camera-ready, but none of that mattered now. Ruiz remained calm, her face unreadable, her grip firm. Isabella twisted her neck to glare at her. "I'm Isabella Zamora, girlfriend of Lieutenant Zamora. You touch me again and your badge won't last the day." But Ruiz had heard it all before, the name-dropping, the threats, the thinly veiled entitlement masked as outrage. None of that changed the facts. Isabella had run a red light, slammed into a young delivery boy on a bike, and didn't stop. She left him bleeding on the curb like yesterday's garbage. And now she was acting like she was the victim. Behind them, a crowd had formed. Whispers turned to murmurs and then into a wave of frustration. Phones were raised, someone shouted, "Lock her up," and the crowd's energy shifted. People had grown tired of watching the powerful get away with everything. Isabella scoffed, yanking at the cuffs as Ruiz guided her toward the cruiser. Her voice dripped with disbelief. "Unbelievable. Do you know who you're messing with?" Ruiz didn't answer. She'd been trained to handle pressure, but life had trained her better. And this wasn't pressure. This was justice knocking. At the station, Isabella stormed through the lobby like she owned it. Her cuffed hands twitched behind her back as she shouted at anyone who'd listen. "I want Lieutenant Zamora here now. This officer assaulted me and dragged me like a criminal." Ruiz stood by silently, not rising to the bait. The desk sergeant barely looked up. He already knew who she was. 15 minutes later, the lieutenant walked in. All eyes turned to him, but it was Isabella's expression that cracked first. Her voice softened as she turned to him with a desperate smile. "Baby, thank God. This rookie's trying to ruin me. I barely bumped that kid. He jumped into the street. I was scared. That's why I left." But Zamora's eyes were already locked on the station monitor. Street cam footage rolled quietly in the background, showing the moment of impact in crisp detail. Isabella's car didn't slow, it sped up. The boy flew into the air like a broken doll. She didn't even hesitate, just kept driving. The room was dead silent. When he finally spoke, Zamora's voice was cold. "You left him there, Isa. You didn't even look back." Isabella's face twisted in disbelief. "You're really going to believe her over me?" "She's not the one on camera," he replied. Then, without emotion, he turned to Ruiz. "Book her," Isabella screamed, thrashing in place. "You can't be serious. You're my boyfriend." But the badge on Ruiz's chest didn't tremble. She recited Isabella's rights again, voice steady. No victory in her tone, just duty. What no one in that room knew was that Ruiz carried ghosts. 5 years earlier, her younger sister had been struck by a drunk driver, the mayor's nephew. He walked away with a suspended sentence. Her sister never walked again. From that day forward, Ruiz made a promise. It wouldn't happen again. She would wear the badge not to protect the powerful, but to protect the powerless. And today, that promise mattered more than politics or names. 3 weeks later, the footage had gone viral. Over 10 million views, TikTok clips, YouTube shorts, news coverage. The public dubbed Ruiz the Iron Cop, a symbol of justice that wouldn't bend, even under pressure. The arrest wasn't about drama anymore. It was about principle. People rallied. They told their own stories of injustice. But more importantly, they believed in someone again. Even Zamora faced the press. Cameras flashed as he stepped forward, no longer hiding behind silence. "If love blinds you to truth," he said, "then that love was never real. I stand with the law, not with someone who breaks it." Isabella was sentenced to 6 months in jail and community service. For once, a last name didn't buy freedom. It was a reckoning. The courtroom didn't applaud, but outside, people did. Ruiz was promoted, not just for doing her job, but for doing it when it mattered most. In an interview, a reporter asked her why she didn't back down. Her answer was quiet, but it echoed everywhere. "The law means nothing if it only applies to the weak. We're not here to serve power. We're here to serve justice." That line alone was clipped and shared a million times. And in the final scene of the viral clip, Ruiz walks out of the station as the sun sets behind her. There's no music, no slow motion, just the sound of clapping, because for once, the system didn't fail. And this time, no one was above the law. Before we end this story, let us know in the comment where are you watching from. If this story touched you, subscribe to the channel and hit that like button and drop a comment below.